Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Basile in for Greta Van Susteren. Well, it doesn't get much scarier than this on a Halloween. An anti-Semitic socialist candidate days away from potentially snatching up the mayor's office in the nation's biggest city. We're talking about this man on your screen, Zohran Mamdani in New York. Which top Democrat is refusing to endorse him? We'll tell you. Also ahead, the FBI stops a potential Halloween terrorist attack in Michigan. The plot allegedly inspired by ISIS. Multiple suspects are in custody. Plus, staff sickouts are rising at the nation's airports, which means some flight nightmares heading your way. According to FlightAware, there have been more than 3,700 delays and 350 cancellations in the U.S. today so far. And also today, on day 31 of the government shutdown, air traffic controllers who are keeping our airspace safe will not be paid again.
Many of our controllers can make it without this first paycheck. They've been in the job for 10, 15, 20 years. They've planned for days like this. But we have a lot of new controllers who are still in training, that aren't at a high level in income, and they can't handle what's happening to them today. But I'll tell you this, almost every controller can't make it 2 paychecks. They can't make it without 2 paychecks.
President Trump in Mar-a-Lago this weekend. When he arrived there today, he reiterated who he believes is to blame for the shutdown.
It's not my call. I don't have a say in this. It's a Senate chamber issue. We don't have that.
The Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape.
Now, President Trump is also calling on Republicans to go nuclear and get the government back open by abolishing the Senate filibuster. Earlier today, we heard from the top Republican in the House, second in line to the presidency, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has some very big concerns about the president's idea.
It's not my call. I don't have a say in this. It's a Senate chamber issue. We don't have that in the House, as you know. But the filibuster has traditionally been viewed as a very important safeguard. If the shoe was on the other foot, I don't think our team would like it. The Democrats, look, they've said what they would do. They would pack the Supreme Court. They would make Puerto Rico and D.C. states. They would ban firearms. They would do all sorts of things that would be very harmful for the country. And the safeguard in the Senate has always been the filibuster.
Former Massachusetts Republican Senator Scott Brown joins me to discuss. All right, Senator, good to see you. We just heard from Speaker Johnson. He says that if you abolish the filibuster, it would backfire on Republicans, frankly, backfire on pro-freedom Americans. The president is saying get rid of that 60-vote margin. What do you think?
Well, I agree with the speaker. Respectfully, I love what the president is doing. He's been doing amazing work on the border and now doing trade deals all over the world and putting out battles that have been happening sometimes for decades. But on this particular matter, the Democrats have told us exactly what they want to do, which is pack the Supreme Court, make Puerto Rico, D.C., and other territory states so they'll gain more senators, more congressmen. We will then never have at all, if you eliminate the filibuster, I believe, be in charge ever again. And a lot of those rights and freedoms that we treasure will go away.
You know, Senator, if it is this dangerous, and particularly at a time when the socialist left is very aggressive, why would the president suggest it at all? What's his strategy there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would more like the president to do what he's been doing around the world, which is to get them all in a room, shut the door, and not open it until they get a deal done. And the fact that the House and Senate have gone away for the weekend, it's like, you kidding me? Do your jobs. I mean, let's open the government. Let's get everyone down there. One thing that the Democrats treasure is the ability to go home and fundraise. If you shut that off over the weekend, then they would probably be more likely to come to the table. You have someone like Jeanne Shaheen and others that aren't running. Take off the handcuffs and actually, represent your people. We have 75,000 people in New Hampshire who will lose their SNAP benefits this weekend, and it's not necessary. They've known this is a situation where you had Shaheen and every other Democrat with Chuck Schumer and Biden negotiating a CR that's been continuing on, and they've known for the sunsetting provisions. They've known for these things to happen for years, and they've done nothing. And they're holding everybody hostage because, as they said, it's the only leverage they have. How sad is that?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, this is now starting to cause some real pain to folks. And before I let you go, you have two judges who have ordered the Trump administration now to use contingency funds to pay for those SNAP benefits. They were set to expire at midnight tonight. Here's what the president said on Air Force One earlier today.
Largely, when you talk about SNAP, you're talking about largely Democrats. But I'm president. I want to help everybody. I want to help Democrats and Republicans. But when you're talking about SNAP, if you look, it's largely Democrats. They're hurting their own people.
Senator, I've had a theory here that the Democrats have just wanted to use this as a cudgel in some of these gubernatorial races and for fundraising in the run-up to the elections, because they do have some key races. Do you think that after Tuesday, the Democrats will come to the table in some fashion?
Well, they should have been at the table from the very beginning. They know what's happening. This is all smoke and mirrors, the ability to use leverage, which is the only thing they have. They hate the fact that the President Trump and the Republicans are in charge and have been getting victory after victory, closing the border, obviously, dealing with a lot of the terrible things that are happening in our cities and around the country, putting out flames around the world, putting back terrorists and putting them where they belong. There's a whole host of things that they're very upset about. But to hold, the people responsible, who need this stuff the most, not give them these benefits. My mom was on welfare. I got these benefits, variation of it, and it's completely unacceptable to use people like this for leverage.
I just want to ask you one exit question about kind of handicapping some of these big races that we're seeing out there. You're in the Northeast. The two of the races are in the Northeast: the New York City mayor's race, the New Jersey governor's race, and of course there's the important governor's race down in Virginia as well. You followed politics for a long time. How do you handicap where you see those races right now?
Well, the fact that Mamdani could be the next mayor is disturbing. It should be disturbing for everybody. And, bottom line, it's not over till it's over. I was down 41 points, ended up winning by 7. So you need to get people out. You need to get all the people who are going to be affected by his crappy policies. I think the New Jersey race is probably going to be the closest. I hear that there's a large turnout on the Republican, ballots that are now being put forth in the early voting. Virginia, Youngkin, we'll have the Youngkin miracle again. I think that's probably a little longer shot, but I'm hoping and praying for everybody.
All right, Senator Scott Brown, appreciate your insights, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Coming up, a potential Halloween terrorist attack foiled in Michigan. That and more when the record continues.
Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers ahead in a new book, Pagan Threat, authored by Pastor Lucas Miles. Charlie said Pagan Threat could save America and that you must read it. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer. Plus, get Dick Morse's new book, The Real Charlie Kirk. 2 great books with our free offer today.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans. Compare drug coverage. Compare costs. See if you can save. And make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Compare plans now at Medicare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Nobody wants to put a new roof over their head. It's too expensive. And if they can extend the life of that roof and get 5 more years or 10 more years, it's a no-brainer.
What RoofMax does is it helps people in that they don't have to spend that $15,000, $20,000 on a new roof. They can spend pennies on the dollar.
The RoofMax product was a small percentage of cost of replacing a roof.
This is a great financial decision for us as a community.
A potential terrorist attack plot foiled this Halloween. Today, FBI Director Kash Patel took to X to say in part, quote, "This morning, the FBI thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend," end quote. Our correspondent Sarah Williamson has been following the story. She has the very latest. Sarah.
Hey, Tom, good to be with you. Look, multiple people were taken in for questioning this morning, preventing what could have been a real horror this Halloween. Now, after Kash Patel announced that online this morning, the FBI in Detroit apprehended a group of young individuals who have a nexus to some form of foreign extremism. The group of men are reportedly between the ages of 16 and 20 and have allegedly chatted online about an ISIS-inspired attack, making several references to Pumpkin Day. Now, the FBI's Detroit field office confirmed the FBI in Michigan were present in the cities of Dearborn and Inkster this morning, conducting law enforcement activities. The Joint Terrorism Task Forces were spotted outside 2 homes in Dearborn, one across the road from a high school. The Dearborn Police Department has commented, saying it has been made aware of the FBI conducting operations in the city of Dearborn earlier this morning. We want to assure our residents that there is no threat to the community at this time. Michigan Governor Greta Whitmer said, "This morning, I was briefed by Director Kash Patel on the thwarted potential terrorist attack in our state. As details continue to develop, I am grateful for the swift action of the FBI and MSP protecting Michiganders." Now, we haven't received any further updates from the FBI director himself since that one earlier this morning, but of course we are keeping a close eye and bringing you all the details of this story as they develop, Tom.
Sarah Williamson in New York, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Former FBI Special Agent and former Assistant FBI Special Agent in charge in Detroit, Michigan, Bill Kowalski joins me now. Bill, I know you've had your ear to the ground on this. What do you know about this potential foiled plot? And are we seeing spikes or increases in the FBI following credible leads on potential attacks like this of late?
Well, thanks for having me, Tom, here too. It certainly seems like there are more plots identified and made public by Director Patel here, but I'm not sure that's the case here. Much of what the FBI and these Joint Terrorism Task Force does is done in secrecy, and it never makes the public eye here too. Certainly they are ever vigilant, and we are thankful that they're out there today. I really haven't heard too much more than what that's already been made public. My understanding is that the location in Inkster was a storage unit, and that there was at least one juvenile among the individuals taken into custody today in regards to this plot.
Walk us through the steps that lead to foiling a potential plot like this. Just briefly, how do you peel away the onion and and go after these guys?
And it's a fascinating exercise here too. I don't know how the initial information was received by the FBI, but there are many different avenues of that here. We have a Guardian database where individuals can call in if they have suspicions. It's the old, if you see something, say something, and we follow up on those leads. We have sources in the communities such as this. I'm led to believe that these individuals were in a chat group, and I know that the intelligence community and the FBI and these task forces monitor these chat groups. And once information is gleaned, leading the FBI or other intelligence agency to think that a threat is imminent, there really is it's a quandary here too. You want to develop the case to the point that prosecution is feasible, but you can't let the case develop to the point where it is unstoppable. So you have to, the timing is has to be exceptional in these things to take it down before individuals are hurt.
Right, absolutely. Because if you wait too long, they could then pull off the attack. You know, there's so much discussion, Bill, these days about radical Islam, Sharia law jurisdictions even coming to the United States, radicalizing of young people here in this country through digital platforms. Michigan has a very large Muslim population. Given the 4 years of the open border and the types of things that we're seeing over in Europe, should we be concerned about attacks here on soft targets?
Well, the answer to that is absolutely we should be concerned. And I know that the FBI and our Joint Terrorism Task Force are very concerned about that here. When you think about the millions that came across the border, we know for a fact that terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, other groups, learn by previous acts. So when they sit back and see individuals crossing our border without any questions, then they figure that might be a way in here. So the FBI remains vigilant. They accept information from the public, and we do everything we can. But I would think today that the threat is as great as it's ever been.
Yeah, you know, it's important for parents to know who your kids are communicating with online, who they're hanging out with. What is your advice for families heading out this weekend or as we head into this holiday season, which is upon us now?
Well, certainly, I think that's the most important thing here. Parents need to know where their kids are and who they're talking to, not only in chat groups and social media, but in game systems where we know that predators lie in wait for these individuals that might have vulnerabilities. So I think certainly during the holiday season, we're always cautious about ongoing frauds and the potential for fraud, but the terrorist threat is everywhere. And I would, again, emphasize the fact that if you see something that is suspicious, don't have any hesitation in advising law enforcement or calling the FBI and letting them know, because they will act upon it if it reaches that reasonable suspicion.
One more question for you, Bill. Are there particular areas of the United States, as you talk to your former colleagues in the FBI, that perhaps would be more prone to this kind of extremist activity than others? You know, where should people really have a heightened sense of vigilance?
Well, it's a fascinating question here too. Here in Dearborn, in the state of Michigan, we have one of the highest concentration of a Muslim Middle Eastern community. Places like San Diego or Washington D.C., there's a high concentration. We always operated under the thought that it's unlikely that terrorists would be here and hit close to home, but that's not always the case. Many sources and FBI employees and task force employees come out of these communities. So I think there is no location in the United States that doesn't have an opportunity to be targeted by these individuals. Mm-hmm. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies identify those specific targets that are the most vulnerable and that would most impact our national security or our transportation infrastructure and things like that. So mm-hmm. those are given extra security and investigative focus, if you will.
Last question for you, Bill. I've been talking to a lot of folks in the law enforcement community who have been watching the development of drone technology, particularly as it has grown in its importance in the war in Ukraine. Certainly being used overseas a lot as a military asset, but the vehicles being made very cheaply with very cheap components, but able to carry payloads. Is that something that we need to be concerned about as well here increasingly, that drones could be used by these terror groups or these cells?
Absolutely. That's just another opportunity for these terrorists or the targets. If you recall, here recently there was a National Guardsman in the state of Michigan that attempted to utilize a drone to fly over the Warren Tank Command in Michigan here to gain intelligence. So these drones can be used not only to gain intelligence, but they can be used as delivery systems, if you will, mm-hmm. here. So we work very close in contact with the FAA and other authorities in the local airports and things like that to make sure that these drones are monitored as closely as possible. But we can't be everywhere. So any information that the public may have in that regard is very helpful.
All right. Everybody plays a role in keeping America safe. Bill Kowalski, thank you very much. Have a great weekend, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
Today, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, released a statement addressing the airstrikes by the United States on boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific that are allegedly linked to drug trafficking. The statement reads, in part, quote, over 60 people have reportedly been killed in a continuing series of attacks carried out by U.S. armed forces against boats in the Caribbean and Pacific since early September in circumstances that find no justification in international law. These attacks and their mounting human cost are unacceptable. The United States must halt such attacks and take all measures necessary to prevent the extrajudicial killing of people abroad and aboard these boats, whatever the criminal conduct alleged against them, end quote. Today, the United States Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, had this to say.
The Western Hemisphere, our backyard, is important. The security of the American people is important, and we're showing that to the world right now. Narco-terrorists are on notice, and we have multiple ways and multiple platforms from which we can interdict. It's not just in the Caribbean, as people have seen, it's over in the Eastern Pacific as well, all up and down Central and South America. We've allowed the poisoning of the American people for far too long. It's frankly self-defense. It's self-defense to understand that narco-terrorists, designated terrorist organizations, should not be able to operate with impunity in those waters. They are the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, and we will strike them wherever we find them.
So that was kind of a no. Well, folks, it happened again. The new book, Pagan Threat, by Pastor Lucas Miles, with a foreword by the late Charlie Kirk, has hit the New York Times bestseller list now for the second week in a row. It'll be on the top 10 New York Times bestseller list for the week of November the 7th. Charlie Kirk's foreword for Pagan Threat were his last final published words. In the book, he warned conservatives of what he said were coming terrifying threats and dangers. Get a copy of Pagan Threat today. It's available on Amazon and bookstores everywhere. And also, check out the free offer on your screen. Coming up, a crime and drug-infested park in Los Angeles is about to get a makeover. That and more when the record continues.
Hey, I'm Carl Higby from Newsmax. Look, I'm unapologetically pro-American, and honestly, this is the one place that lets me call it how it is. I'm not holding back. I'll give it to you straight every single night.
There are only a few men I'd trust with my life. Two of them built this wallet. These wallets are a direct reflection of the kind of men who built it. It's built to last, built to function. If anything happens to it, they'll take care of it. No questions, no fine print. If you knew the guys who created this wallet, you wouldn't carry anything else.
When Betty and George turned 50, they figured out that switching 2 unlimited lines from big wireless to consumer cellular could save people up to $600 a year. So they made the switch and started splurging on date night. And it became their favorite night. No, don't you dare. It's an acquired taste. See how we can cut your bill. If you're over 50, get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each. Call Consumer Cellular.
For plant-based, healthy blood pressure support, there's one brand at Walmart that stands above the rest. It's Super Beets by Human. Discover why Super Beets is the #1 cardiologist-recommended beet brand for heart health support at your nearest Walmart today.
Yikes. Leaky refrigerator coil card.
Oh no.
But your future is bright with an American Home Shield warranty to protect your covered home system. Don't worry, be warranty.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time. So why do so many dog foods contain awful things a human would never eat? To save his pets, world-famous veterinarian Dr. Marty knew he had to change what was in their bowl.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, my breakthrough formula that's changed everything about dog food.
Nature's Blend contains nothing but all-natural ingredients, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching and paw licking, even moving around better. And that's because Nature's Blend is freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, we we gently preserve them, and you'll see the difference in your dog.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
Such a huge difference in her health. More energy, more playful, no more pooping issues. He's healthier, he looks better.
Dr. Marty has thousands of 5-star reviews. And for a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV. That's drmartypets.com/TV.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
From our orchards in Oregon to your holiday table, Harry and David delivers a legacy of gourmet excellence. Our prepared meals, fine wines, charcuterie, all crafted to elevate any celebration. Make it a hand-picked holiday with Harry and David.
It's the Stackable Savings Sale at Cabinets to Go. Discover quality cabinets, countertops, accessories, and more. Plus, watch as your dream kitchen comes to life with a free 3D design. Don't wait, the Stackable Savings Sale ends soon. Cabinets to Go, designed to wow.
New efforts underway this week to keep America's streets safe. Yesterday, President Trump announced a new refugee cap. The United States will now only allow 7,500 legitimate refugees into the country on an annual basis. The previous cap, under former President Joe Biden, was 125,000. The administration has previously said it is focused on keeping out foreigners who may pose a risk to national security. Meanwhile, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is extending the National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C. through February. Those troops have been patrolling the streets of our nation's capital, contributing to significant reductions in crime there. In other National Guard news, the Pentagon is reportedly pushing ahead with President Trump's orders to build, quote, quick reaction forces of the National Guard in each state. These forces would be trained in crowd control and civil unrest. Meanwhile, there are new developments in Los Angeles, which saw protests in the summer over the National Guard deployment. Democrat Mayor Karen Bass now backing a $1 million plan to clean up crime at MacArthur Park. Why do we care? Well, back in July, Mayor Bass confronted federal immigration officers at that very same park, calling their operation a military assault and un-American. Apparently, something did need to be done there after all. Joining me now for more on this, former Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva and former DHS Acting Secretary Ken Cuccinelli. Alex, I'm going to start with you. You were the sheriff in L.A. How bad is that park, and what do you make of Mayor Bass's sort of change of heart there and decision to finally clean it up?
Well, that actually third world countries will be insulted by being compared to MacArthur Park. It is absolutely devastation. There is no sense of civic pride. Everything there is people basically in various stages of being overdosing on fentanyl. And you have all the illegal activity going on. You have a lack of LAPD being present there. You have your city councilwoman, Eunice Hernandez, one of the far left progressive Democratic Socialist America, who was all against any effort to enforce the rule of law in MacArthur Park. And the community, as usual, always suffers because of this.
Yeah. Mr. Secretary, I've argued that Democrats have been very dishonest with the public about the role that the National Guard actually plays when they are deployed to these cities. Their deployment in D.C. Has just been extended. Your thoughts on the effectiveness of this strategy of the administration thus far?
Well, D.C. is the single best test case because of the additional authority the federal government, the president, has with respect to the governance of the District of Columbia. And as you noted in your introduction, the evidence of the reduction in crime has been very substantial in Washington, D.C. We're seeing other evidence of a different form with the mayor of Los Angeles, who, after attacking the president's efforts to clean up a particular part of Los Angeles that we just heard the sheriff describe, has effectively admitted by her actions, and we were all told by our parents, actions speak louder than words. Her actions are demonstrating the president was right and the National Guard was valuable in that role. And we're seeing it in other cities around the country. So this is a benefit to America that the president campaigned on, and he was right. The evidence is bearing that out.
Yeah, and to that point, Alex, President Trump, he wants to train these quick reaction forces of the guards. And states, including California, have sued in the past over his federalization of National Guard troops. But talk to us about, why this training is important, but also, what they typically do to provide support, but not really replace the crime fighting that goes on with local PD or with other federal law enforcement.
Well, I think having the National Guard trained to crowd control a riot situation is a good idea. I think it boils down to who's going to be in control of the National Guard in those moments. I deployed the National Guard in 2020 during our Summer of Love, and we used them very effectively guarding all of our public spaces and structures that were under assault by Antifa and Black Lives Matter activists. And that freed up our local law enforcement to go out to basically confront the people that were rioting in the streets. So it was a very effective partnership between the two.
Yeah, and it's incredibly important that they have the appropriate training to also be in those environments. So this seems to make a lot of sense. Mr. Secretary, we also mentioned in our setup here that President Trump is lowering the refugee cap from the Biden era limit of 125,000 to 7,500. Talk to us about this shift in policy and the distinction between the refugees and asylum seekers and the other immigrant population that we're contending with here.
Yeah, so just so that people have a historical picture, that 125,000 number, I believe, was the highest refugee level in American history.
That's right.
So understand that for starters. And the president is dropping it to 7,500. We actually talked about 0 in the first term. And a big part of the reason is simply to catch up with what we've already absorbed. So when you hear the word refugee and asylum, a refugee is somebody who is in the same circumstances as a legitimate asylum seeker, but the arrangements are made with that person and their family with the American government before they ever arrive. So they're cooperating with us step by step. So whatever the president, whether it be Biden or Trump, these are people who are cooperating with our government, are pre-vetted, and are coming into a planned reception at a time when the rest of our immigration system is still overwhelmed with the damage done under the Biden administration that is going to take years to recover from.
All right, Sheriff, exit question for you. It's Game 6 tonight, World Series. Can the Dodgers actually pull this off against the Canadian team?
I think Yamamoto is going to have his day in history. I think he's going to be excellent, and the Dodgers will force a Game 7.
All right. Hey, Ken, just for the heck of it, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, it's always tough because Ohtani is my favorite player in all of Major League Baseball. He's amazing, maybe the greatest ever. But I can't stand the Dodgers. I'm also Catholic. I haven't forgotten their fake anti-Catholic nun stunt. So I'm rooting for the Blue Jays and Ohtani at the same time.
It's a really tough one. It's a really tough one. I got to tell you, especially as a Yankee fan, it's a really tough one. But
I'm sure it is.
All right.
I bleed Dodger blue. So.
Sheriff Alex Villanueva, thank you so much. Ken Cuccinelli, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for being here.
Good to be with you both.
You too.
All right, last night the White House was lit up in orange and decorated to celebrate Halloween. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump opened the South Lawn to trick-or-treaters of all ages. First couple handed out chocolate bars that were wrapped with the presidential seal. Don't eat those, kids. Those are collector's items. But then one little trick-or-treater found all the decorations a bit too spooky. The girl who was dressed up as a princess with a tiara and all came up to the first couple crying. First Lady there, you can see her, was very quick to bend down and comfort the little princess. Mrs. Trump took the time to talk to the young girl, helping to calm her down, and then, of course, gave her some chocolate. Busy day for the First Family there. All right, coming up, one Democrat facing a lot of heat for not endorsing Democrat Socialist New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani. Find out who when the record continues.
You hear the same voices.
Donald Trump knows that's a lie.
From the same people.
Donald Trump is less lucid.
Saying the same thing.
Insults, invective, and outright lies.
And you say, enough! I'm Chris Salcedo, and I'll tell you the real news. If you don't believe me, just tune in.
I was tired of sitting on the sidelines. Now, thanks to Jointivia, I'm back in the swing of things. Wait, $70 for a refill?
You gotta try Single Care. Just look up your prescription, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and save.
Really?
Really. Single Care crushes the cost of my prescription, almost as much as I'm crushing Chad.
Unbelievable. See why more people are saving with Single Care. Common side effects include shockingly lower prices, excessive fist bumps, and humbling guys named Chad.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
Get great flooring deals at Lumber Liquidators until November 4th. Solid oak hardwood flooring from 79 cents a square foot. Corlux waterproof vinyl from $1.19 a square foot. Mayflower pre-finished hardwood from $1.99 a square foot. Ends November 4th. LumberLiquidators.com.
I am Mr. H, owner of Immuno 150, possibly the most complete and best nutritional supplement in the world, bar none. Now, it has propelled me to 91 years of age and my wife Shirley to 82. Both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, doing everything we did many years ago. All because of Immuno 150. And it can do the very same thing for you. Try it for 90 days so you can experience the difference it can make in your life. Nothing on the market can compete with the way we blend 70 plant-derived colloidal minerals with 80 very carefully selected nutrients. You'll be surprised if you take the recommended dose of Immuno 150 for 3 months. Place your order now so that you can be with us many years from now. Thank you and God bless.
Hello, I'm Franklin Graham. We've all been watching the storm Melissa as it hit Jamaica. The destruction is just incredible. Samaritan's Purse is responding. We've got planes taking supplies and people in and out of Jamaica. We've got a helicopter. They'll be working up in the mountains in some of these remote areas where people are still cut off. So much destruction has taken place. So please pray for them. We want everyone there to know that God loves them and cares for them. So we need your prayers. God bless you. Thank you.
Now it's a great time to play Solitaire Grand Harvest and enjoy a new world of solitaire. Brr, a cold world. This Christmas, discover all the holiday fun with exciting features from Santa. Like our winter tournaments, festive mini-games, and challenging levels. Ever built a farm in the snow? 'Tis the season to turn classic into fantastic. So download Solitaire Grand Harvest for free and see for yourself.
The New York City mayoral race right around the corner this Tuesday, and a lot of Democrats have given in and endorsed Democrat Socialist Zohran Mamdani. The race is a three-way race between Mamdani, independent Andrew Cuomo, the former Democrat governor, and Republican Curtis Sliwa. One Democrat who has not endorsed Mamdani publicly is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. He's also a Republican senator from New York. Yesterday, Democrat Socialist Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was asked about Schumer not endorsing Mamdani. Here's that exchange.
Why do you think Chuck Schumer has not endorsed Zohran Mamdani?
I really don't know. It makes no sense. We as Democrats have always believed that in an election we support our party's nominee. Schumer has pressured other Democrats to do just that. Well, the tsunami of the anti-Muslim attacks that we are seeing is deeply concerning. And I would hope that the Democratic leader in the Senate would recognize that and would offer support.
What do you say to people who believe that Zohran Mamdani's, the pace at which he discussed condemning the phrase globalize the intifada was not fast enough, that it was anti-Semitic?
Well, everything he does or says seems to be called anti-Semitic. He's got a huge coalition of Jewish voters that are supporting him.
According to the New York Times, nearly 400,000 voters have already cast early ballots in the New York City mayoral race that blows the old record out of the water. Political commentator Eyal Yakoby joins me, as well as political reporter for The Spectator, Matt Foldi. All right, let's start with this. A group of trans rabbis have now come out as Jews for Zohran. Watch this.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi. We're among the thousands of Jewish New Yorkers who've been out door knocking and phone banking to elect Zohran Mamdani.
We know Zohran will fight to make our city affordable and safe for our families. As Jews, as rabbis, as New Yorkers, we believe that all people deserve to thrive. Zohran agrees.
I'm not quite sure which one of those, well, some of those people were men. I don't know. Eyal, let's start with you. Do you think the Jewish community in New York has been so captured by the far left that many of them will actually vote for this guy?
I at first, when I saw that video, thought that it was either Andrew Cuomo or Curtis Sliwa's campaign releasing a video as an attack ad on Zohran Mamdani because it was so hilarious how pathetic it was. And you look at the recent polling, I believe it's less than 10% of Jewish New Yorkers are voting for Zohran Mamdani. So I think this is just another pathetic attempt at whitewashing his long history of anti-Semitism, of anti-Hindu, of anti-white bigotry. And this is just the next in line for where he tries to obfuscate from his seriously dark history of supporting terrorism, supporting jihad, of supporting anti-American values overall.
Matt, I know you've been keeping a close eye on the race and you're talking to people up in New York. What are you hearing?
Well, first on the point you were just making, that group that made that ad, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, is one of the most radical far-left groups that exists in New York City and around the country. And the people who are in that, by the way, are about as Jewish as a bacon triple cheeseburger. And look, I think that at the end of the day, I'm sorry for our Newsmax colleagues in New York City who might be needing to get out of there because it looks like Zohran Mamdani is going to win. And one thing, honestly, to further contextualize this, we were talking about with Ilhan Omar and Chuck Schumer. I think everyone obviously knows that Schumer shut the government down because he is afraid of a primary from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This is honestly, at this point, just a fact. But I think the other thing that's interesting is at this point, the government shutdown is almost certain to go through Tuesday's elections, and it's very possible that Schumer is doing this as well to distract from the criticism that he would otherwise have gotten from the left for not endorsing Zohran Mamdani. And Tom, you're totally right to note that every single Democrat, pretty much of stature, has gotten in line behind Zohran Mamdani, and it kind of makes me wonder if we always knew Hakeem Jeffries was going to do this because he's afraid for his own primary as well in 2026. I don't know what finally pushed him over the edge, but he got in line, and you saw Republicans immediately made a giant issue about this for Democrats across the country.
There is this culture of fear, I think, that has really developed within the Democratic Party because so many traditional liberals are terrified, utterly terrified of the power and the money of the socialist wing of the party. Eyal, if Mamdani does win, how do you see him impacting life in New York the most?
I think it's to be seen. Look, President Trump said that he will not provide federal funds to any of the ridiculous policies that Zohran wants to pass. I also think that a Zoran victory will ultimately prove that Stefanik will become the next governor of New York, and then you have an interesting balance where you have a communist running the biggest city in New York, let alone the biggest city in the country, and you have a Republican governor of the state who will probably not be giving funds or allowing for certain policies to take place. And I think it's an interesting point that Ilhan Omar said that historically speaking, when there's a Democrat nominee, that everybody falls in line. And I think it's interesting to note that MAGA is frequently accused of being a cult, but here you have Ilhan Omar lambasting Chuck Schumer for not endorsing someone who has next to zero values, is what the historic Democrat Party is. But I think moving forward, we might see a very different Democrat party in terms of values if Mamdani does win.
In New York, I think the biggest loser if he wins is Kathy Hochul, because that's just a no-win situation for her and the state Democratic Party. Matt, let's look at it from a little bit of a different perspective. What are the implications of this socialist, Islamist, anti-Semite running New York for the country and for the National Democratic Party?
You're right to say I think one of the biggest losers, other than people who live in New York City, would be Kathy Hochul, because she's trying to say, and Zoran Mamdani's supporters are in essence kind of telegraphing, he can't really do everything he says he wants to do because the governor won't let him. But you saw at this rally, I think this is the one that that's a photo from, where Hochul was basically heckled by the socialists in the audience saying tax the rich, all of this stuff that she allegedly would be the bulwark on. I don't really think that she has the ability to stand up to the bulldozer that is the socialist left in New York City and New York State. But on the flip side of this, the biggest winner is definitely a different governor. That's Ron DeSantis. And you can already imagine that all the people in New York who have vacation homes in Florida are going to be spending far more time there, probably decamping there permanently and trying desperately to offload their New York City properties.
Yeah, Abbott, Bill Lee, and DeSantis, and some of these other Republican governors are salivating right now. Eyal, I want to just play this AI-generated video put together by some New York City resident. It's Halloween. We figured we'd give you something to react to like this. Go ahead.
Zoran Mamdani here. Some people think my policies are spooky, but there's nothing to worry about. With social workers instead of cops, the streets will be safer than ever. Decriminalizing misdemeanors and sex work, everyone will have less to fear. Fine, things might get a little scary. But what did you expect? I'm a commie zombie who's only worked for his mommy. So after Halloween, vote Mamdani. Or else.
I think that kind of makes the point. Eyal, to you for a quick reaction.
Look, it's a silly AI video, but it's honestly scary how accurate it is in terms of what his actual policies are. And look, I think New York's in for an interesting next 4 years, and I hope the voters, reap the benefits that they sow at the polls. And there might not be a Halloween next year. It might not be safe enough to have your kids walk outside and trick or treat.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest issue. I think you're going to see mass resignations and retirements in the NYPD. I think crime is going to be the biggest issue, bigger than any of these other, socialist ideas that he has. Matt, I'll give you the last word here.
I don't know what in that video was AI generated.
All right. Eyal,
just a campaign speech from Zoran Mamdani, I guess.
Eyal, Yakoby, Matt Foldi. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Coming up, a $10 million royal flush. It's not what you think. That when the record continues.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands. We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late. Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
Are you getting the most from your Medicare plan?
It's overwhelming, actually.
Really confusing. It was always a struggle for us trying to narrow it down.
With Matchfinder by eHealth, it's easy to see if you could get more coverage for less money. So we invited people to give it a try.
This is the first time I'll be able to see the major plans side by side.
Put your doctors in, put your prescriptions in.
I'd like to add a doctor. Oh, and there he is.
Yeah, that's a good deal right there.
I'm all about saving money.
See if you could get more for less with the new Medicare plan. Go to eHealth.com and try Matchfinder. Compare your current plan to new 2026 plans from the nation's top insurance companies. Enter your doctors and prescriptions and choose from plans ranked for you by cost, coverage, and satisfaction. Or call this number to compare plans with the help of an eHealth advisor. They're paid the same no matter which Medicare Advantage plan you choose.
Thanks for calling eHealth. How can I help you today?
One thing I'm looking for is lowering prescription costs.
Awesome. We can do this together. This looks like this is going to be pretty cost effective for your prescriptions. So you're saving money across the board while also increasing your benefits. What do you think?
All right, sounds good. Thank you. That was amazing. I mean, it's a great plan.
How was that?
It was easy.
And would you recommend this to other folks?
Heck yeah, if they're paying high prices like I am now. Well, let me tell you, go to these guys.
Call this number for your Medicare plan comparison or get started at eHealth.com. Either way, it's always a free service.
They weren't pushing just one plan. They're going to look for what's perfect for you.
It's going to save me close to about $400 or $500 a year.
The Matchfinder, that's the greatest idea I've seen in a long time.
The fact that it was free makes it a whole lot better.
Call 1-800-705-0863 to compare Medicare plans in your area or visit eHealth.com.
eHealth, your Medicare matchmaker.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris has been making the rounds in the media. Yesterday, in an interview with comedian and podcast host Jon Stewart, she was asked about her former boss, President Joe Biden. Here's what she said.
I actually write about it extensively in the book about my feelings for the president. I care about him deeply. And I did not want to pile on with all the criticism that he was facing. I believe he was fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
Okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So you also abdicated your responsibility and put the country at risk because you didn't want to hurt his feelings? I'm not quite sure anybody's going to buy that, Madam Vice President. Well, moving on. Do you have a few $1 million you want to flush down the drain? Well, Sotheby's is auctioning off a solid gold toilet next month. And no, it did not belong to Donald Trump. An Italian artist made the piece. The work is entitled America. The artist says it satirizes excessive wealth. The starting price for the 223-pound fully functioning toilet, $10 million. The toilet maker is also known for his work involving a banana duct taped to a wall. I'm sure all of you remember that one. That was sold for $6.2 million last year. Coming up, we have another wild monkey on the loose. I'm not making that up either. You don't want to miss it. That when the record continues.
I've been a leader at App School All-Stars for 21 years. By working with kids every day, I've seen the complexity of youth mental health firsthand. Economic anxiety, kids falling behind in school, overuse of devices. There are many contributing factors that all deserve our attention. To ensure students reach their full potential, we should listen to them and empower their parents with every resource they need. Youth mental health is a difficult challenge. It needs a comprehensive solution.
Get unlimited satellite internet when you switch to Viasat. No data caps, no contracts. Just a fast, reliable connection installed by pros. Visit getviasat.com or call 877-VIASAT-7 to sign up today. Viasat, internet without limits.
Fed up with stubborn earwax? Dr. Easy professional ear washers have been used over 40 million times by medical professionals. Now you can get the same results at home with Wax RX, the personal ear wash system from Dr. Easy. Just like our professional ear washers, Wax RX flushes away stubborn earwax without a trip to the doctor. Don't be fooled by store brands and cheap knockoffs. Get the original doctor-invented #1 ear wash system in America. Get Wax RX today.
Humana Medicare Advantage plans. Carry this card, and you could have the power to get benefits beyond original Medicare. These are convenient plans that offer all of the benefits of original Medicare, plus extra coverage and benefits. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage in one convenient plan, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. All plans include dental coverage, including $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage with eye exams, and an allowance to use towards eyewear, and hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. That's more than you get with original Medicare. But it gets even better because Humana offers plans with $0 or low monthly plan premiums. You may also get $0 copays for routine vaccines at in-network retail pharmacies, $0 copays for in-network primary care visits, and $0 copays for in-network preventive services. Plus, worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. And Medicare Advantage plans ensure your covered medical costs, including doctor and emergency care, will never go above a maximum out-of-pocket amount that you know beforehand. Imagine benefits like these in one convenient plan. Plus, you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. So if you want more from Medicare, call or scan the QR code now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra coverage and benefits, including coverage for doctor, hospital, and prescription drugs, plus a cap on your out-of-pocket medical costs. And all plans include coverage for dental, vision, and hearing. A knowledgeable, licensed Humana sales agent will explain your coverage options, even help you enroll over the phone. Call today, but now is the time. The annual enrollment period ends December 7th. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
A better heart health supplement. That's what we all want. That's why for 8 years now, I've relied on this heart powder. It's Super Beats, and I swear by it.
Super Beats is the original #1 selling beet brand for healthy blood pressure support. The only cardiologist-recommended beet brand that's also trusted by over 40 national championship-winning pro and college sports teams for cardio-powered energy.
For cardio results you can feel, the only brand I trust is Super Beats.
Find out how to get a free month with your first order at livehuman.com.
Well, yesterday it was lab monkeys on the run in Mississippi. Today it's more monkeys, but this time in Texas, where a pet monkey got loose at a Spirit Halloween store. How did the critter get loose? Well, the Halloween store had some Halloween decorations, and it turns out one of those decorations spooked the monkey. So the monkey, as they do in the wild too, evaded the threat by climbing way high up. The monkey's owner had to entice the animal with a small cookie to retrieve him, but it took some time as the monkey was eager to explore his new surroundings. Have a safe and happy Halloween, folks. Chris Salcedo is up next. Thanks for watching.